Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Christopher Aaron. It is December 6th, 2024. Silver looks good, so let us have a silver price update. I like how we're seeing the stability over $30 per ounce. Let's make sure we're all up to speed on where we are. The other thing that I'm going to do in this update, I don't do this very often, but I am going to give away some of our premium research here for free, and that is going to be on a silver mining company that our premium subscribers are investing in right now. The name of the company is Equity Metals Corp. You can see here the ticker in Canada, EQTY, and in the USA, it's EQMEF. This is a company that I am investing in personally because they have over 85 million ounces of silver in the ground. So after we look at silver itself, you'll see why I think this silver mining company is going to do very well over the next several years. And just to answer your questions, remember, this company, not any company, is paying me a single cent to produce this video. This research is all independently sourced. I take no fees, no kickbacks from any of the companies that we invest in. Instead, my business model is to share research with investors who value the research. And if you value it, I hope you'll consider investing alongside me. And that is my model. So we will look at the silver price first, and then we will check out what's going on with this silver company, Equity Metals. So why is this important? Well, just a brief rewind here to remind you that our last investment was with this gold mining company, Provenance Gold, and this thing is already higher by 213% in the last 2 months. Not only that, but we received warrants with this investment because we bought it in a private placement. The warrants are higher by 108%. You add this up and the total investment is up by 321%. That's over a 4x in 2 months. Remember, guys, you only have to be right once to change your life forever. If you missed the Provenance investment, you might want to consider what we have going on right now with silver. So let's take a look at it. Our legal disclaimer first. And now let's update the silver price itself. Here is the pattern that we were discussing. Let's talk about the support levels. The rising support is now up to $29.10. And remember, there was additional support right here at $30. And if you go back a week ago, I was saying, I think this zone right in here, the confluence of the blue dashed rising trend out of the early year lows, 29.10 up through $30 here, this turquoise level, I thought that that was going to hold. And this is looking very good. We've seen 4 weeks in a row where silver has held this support level. That is exactly what we wanted to see from the bullish standpoint. And I note that in the overnight hours, as we head into Friday morning in Asia now, silver is back above $31. It's looking very healthy. And so the pattern is still like this. It is a rising pattern. We expect, if this pattern is going to continue holding, and remember the rule that patterns are valid until proven otherwise. So it would take a break of this confluence of support here to negate the expectation for silver itself, working its way higher into this sort of an apex. The apex brings us into the mid to upper 40s as we get into the next year to 18 months. And at that point, that is where I will say I'm going to take a step back. I have a question. What is going to happen to silver after that point? I like to take the market in chunks. We either confirm or deny the working model after we get to a new juncture for this market. So I like how silver is looking here. It's holding up well. Gold itself is stable. We all know that silver has a lot more catching up to do than gold. And so if you are bullish on silver itself, I want you to understand why we are considering this investment here that we're making in Equity Metals Corp. Look at the time when silver itself surged by 155% in the first half of 2020. And notice how in the exact same period of time, Equity Metals Corp rose by 725%. Incredible. Remember, you only have to be right once to change your life forever. Look at the different opportunities here, the multiple opportunities that Equity Metals Corp has given over just the last 4 years. When silver was higher by 50% here in 2022 to early 23, Equity Metals once again was higher by 700%. Can you imagine if you had invested $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 and you get a 700% gain on that? I mean, look, I always say everyone should own some silver bullion, but you're not going to get these kind of percentage gains from silver bullion. You should own silver bullion as your real savings account. I think everyone should own a real savings account. But once you have enough of the real savings account, and if it's appropriate for your situation, and you want to try to change your situation in life, you want to try to be able to pay off your house, buy a new house, buy a second home, pay off your car, take that vacation with your wife or your girlfriend or your family that you've always wanted to take. I'm sorry, the gains here from silver bullion itself, they simply cannot match what these well-capitalized companies that are mining for silver have in the ground as far as percentage gains. So let's talk about the company itself. Equity Metals Corp, their flagship deposit is called the Silver Queen Project. And this is located in Canada. It's in British Columbia, Canada, right up here. Here's Washington, USA. This is British Columbia, just north. And notice that Silver Queen is surrounded by major mining companies here. This is what you want to see. It's in a very friendly mining jurisdiction. And Silver Queen already has 85 million ounces of silver equivalent on their balance sheet. Let's zoom in, learn more about the Silver Queen property. Look at this. Within 30 kilometers, you can see that there are no less than 4 major mining companies and several other smaller mining companies. Look right here. Imperium Metals is right here, 30 kilometers to the south. They're mining at the Huckleberry mine. You've got Newmont Gold Corp. This is the largest mining company in the entire world. This is just 10 kilometers here to the northeast. Then we've got Teck Resources over here, another large mining company, 15 kilometers to the northwest. And finally, we have Centerra over here with a big copper deposit about 30 kilometers to the southwest. And then we have several other medium-sized mining companies all in this jurisdiction, Electrum. And so this is an area that is ripe for mining, ripe for consolidation here. Let's zoom it in and look at the flagship Silver Queen project itself. This is the drilling that they've done here over the course of the last 4 years. And remember this, we're looking here at a 2.5 kilometer by 2.5 kilometer area. This is what encompasses the 85 million ounces of silver equivalent already in the ground. 2.5 kilometers by 2.5 kilometers. But let's go back 1 second and notice that the entire property is roughly 15 kilometers by 15 kilometers. So what we're seeing here as far as the total resource is only a small fraction of the property. They have a lot more to explore on this property. They could grow this by many multiple fold over the coming years. Now, this company, Equity Metals Corp, has owned the Silver Queen project since 2020. And we can see since 2020, they've done all these drill holes that you can see in gray. And then here in the central vein zone, and then here this smaller zone to the northeast. And then just this year, they've done the blue holes. You can see that here. They've been growing the resource. They are still drilling as we are speaking. And if you're going to join us in investing in this company in the private placement, which I'll tell you the benefits of that, even above and beyond the gains that you've already seen are possible in silver, if you're going to join us in the private placement, you should know that your investment is going toward allowing them to do an even larger drilling exploration program in 2025. And so they should be growing this 85 million ounces of silver. And if we're right about what happens to silver itself, this is the 1-2 punch. This is what you look for in the mining industry. You look for a company that can grow its deposit. Let's talk about the actual deposit itself. Let's get into the nitty-gritty here. We're talking the 62.7 million ounces of silver equivalent. Let's talk about the grade, 565 grams per ton. Remember, this is a polymetal deposit. So they have silver, they have gold, they have copper, they have lead, and they have zinc. About 65% of the entire deposit is silver and gold. So it's a precious metals dominant deposit, and then you have some smaller amounts here of the base metals. When you add all this up and convert it to silver equivalent, you're talking 565 grams per ton of silver. And I'll tell you, this is a very good grade. There are companies out there that mine for silver that's only 100 grams per ton or 150. So this is nearly 4 times some of the other grades that I've seen. This is a very mineable grade for silver. And then we come down here into what they call the inferred category, another 22.5 million ounces at 365 grams per ton. And remember, this phrase inferred does not mean like imaginary or hypothetical. It just means that the amount of drilling they've done here on this category, the spacing of the drilling is not as tight as it is for the indicated. So this is what they're going to be working on here over the months and into 2025 coming up. They'll be expanding this and moving this up into the indicated category and then expanding the entire size of the silver deposit itself. Let's look at some of the specifics here. If you're with me so far and you see the results, I mean, you saw the chart, you saw how Equity Metals has leveraged silver positively in every silver rising cycle that we've seen here thus far since this company has owned the Silver Queen project. Now let's look at some of the specifics here about the company. Again, here are the tickers in Canada and the United States. The company has 0 debt, so you don't have to worry about that. We don't like companies that have debt, so that's good to see. The market cap of the company is only $24 million in USD. And when you take that overall resource size that we talked about, the 62 plus the 22 million ounces, if you just do the math, $24 million divided by 85 million ounces, this comes to 28 cents per ounce of silver equivalent in the ground. 28 cents. What is silver selling for above ground right now? $30, $31, over 100 times this price. So you can imagine the potential for the revaluation higher as the market begins to rate this higher, as they grow the deposit, as they improve the confidence in the deposit, and eventually as they get closer to getting bought out by one of those neighboring companies. That is our investment thesis for this, that eventually one of those larger companies is going to step in here and say, you know what, this is a juicy enough deposit, we're going to buy it out, we're going to buy it at a premium. That is our thesis here for Equity Metals Corp. Now, if you're interested in taking your investment to the next level, you're saying, you know, I don't just want to invest $1,000 or $2,000, let's say, but if you're ready to invest a minimum of $7,000 US, I want to show you how you can get even greater returns. And this is what I do personally. This is what a lot of our investors do. You can get even greater returns than what we just saw in the previous charts, those percentage gains, if you join us in the private placement that we have negotiated specifically with Equity Metals Corp to allow us to get better terms. And so what I mean by that, for example, today the shares of Equity Metals Corp traded at 20 cents. Okay, they closed at 20 cents on the Canadian exchange. So if you go out and you want to buy $500 or a couple $1,000s worth of the stock, you're going to be buying at 20 cents. I still think it's a good deal. However, if you can invest the minimum 7,000 USD, which is roughly equivalent to 10,000 Canadian dollars, we have negotiated to buy shares at 18 cents. We have locked this in. And this is available only for a limited time. This offer closes on Monday, this Monday coming up. So what this means is that you are receiving the shares for an initial profit of 10%. You're buying at 18, they're currently worth 20. That is a 10% profit just to start. The company could go higher, the company could go lower, the company could go sideways, but just to start, you're at a 10% profit if you join us in the private placement investment, okay? Where else do you get a 10% profit right off the bat? That's something for you to think about. I don't know any other place that is possible. So that's the first thing you get in the private placement with us. The second thing that you get is free, yes, free warrants. You're going to receive, for every share that you buy, you're going to receive half of a warrant that are good for 3 years from the closing date and that are exercisable at anything above 27 cents. Remember, the company is already trading at 20 cents. This is only about 45% away. It's very possible. You saw some of those percentage gains, 700%, 300% in previous cycles. So if this company just rises by 45% here over the coming year, these warrants also get you additional profit. And remember, you do not get these benefits right here unless you invest with us via the private placement that we have negotiated for all of our members with Equity Metals Corp. So again, if I didn't have the 7,000 ready to invest, would I buy shares in the open market? Absolutely. If I'm bullish on silver, then I'm bullish on Equity Metals Corp. But if I'm ready to invest 7,000 or more, there is no way that I would miss out on the private placement here that we have negotiated, because you get these benefits that you do not get if you bought in the open market. Last reminder here, the deadline to register, if you would like to join us in this private placement, the deadline to register with us is this Monday coming up, December 9th. And then the deadline to send your funds, at least the minimum 7,000 USD, to get your shares at the discount and the warrants, that deadline is coming up next Friday. Okay? So you only have 2 days to think about this. Our office will be open on Saturday. We will be taking calls, we will be taking emails, and then the deadline is Monday. No exceptions can be made. If you would like to try to achieve these types of gains with us, with our other investors, if you're bullish on silver and you already have plenty of silver bullion, again, here's the difference between silver bullion and a company that is sitting on silver in the ground. Think about this. The service, if you would like to join us, is called Elite Private Placements. The deadline to register is Monday, December 9th, 2024. This Monday, no exceptions can be made. Monday, close of business. We send all the information for all of our investors to the company together, and that's it. Remember, if you join us in Elite Private Placements, you will also get a free subscription to Precious Metals Intelligence Plus. This service, the Intelligence Plus, is where you receive research like this, not only on Equity Metals, which is a company that we are investing in now, but you also receive the research on all the other companies that we are investing in. 10 additional companies. You saw the Provenance one, that's one of the 10. That thing is higher by over 300% for us in 2 months. I'm very happy how that one is turning out. If you want to learn about the other companies that we are investing in, Intelligence Plus is the service for you. If you would like to sit down and discuss your situation, know that you can reach me on the Consultations tab on the website. So, we see silver looking very healthy here. I think silver has a pathway that it can get back into the mid to upper 40s here over the next 12 to 18 months. If it's going to stay in the current pattern, which is valid unless it's proven otherwise, so the current pattern is still valid, then it is looking very good. And in that case, in every previous cycle, Equity Metals Corp has leveraged the price of silver. Remember, they are not paying me to say this. I am sharing with individuals who find value the research on the investments that we are making. Think about it, and remember, you only have to be right once to change your life forever.